everyone, this is V and this is our first spotlight video featuring Morocco, led by Ahmed Al-Mansour. Let's start with discussing the spawn bias, and as you can see, that is desert. Morocco has a high chance to spawn near a good desert location. How do we recognize a good desert location? Well, we look at the number of hill tiles, and there are sheep and a few hills here, so we can definitely work with that. Why is that important? Well, a regular desert tile gives you absolutely nothing. The other thing to look out for is the river, so we have at least 6 river tiles here. Yeah. So that is good enough to work with. We will settle in place, and we will just do the regular stuff to get on our way. So now that that's out of the way, let's discuss the special abilities of Morocco. You can see here Gateway to Africa, extra gold, 3 and 1 culture for each trade route with a different civ or city-state, and the trade route owners receive +2 gold for each trade route sent to Morocco. Now this is important because the AI often just evaluates where to send a trade route by the gold it can generate, and getting a default +2 is already pretty good. It means you will probably get more trade routes than most other civs. Incoming trade routes also provide you with extra science and gold, so the trade route focus is pretty high. The other 2 abilities, well, let's get started with the Kasbah. I think I can show you this in the Civilopedia. And the Kasbah is an improvement for desert tiles that adds 1 food, 1 production and 1 gold to the tile. It can be built both on regular desert tiles and desert hill tiles, which makes a desert hill 131, which is pretty amazing. And that's exactly what we will be doing here on as many tiles as possible. Unfortunately, a regular tile of 111 is not really something to write home about, and that sort of limits the usefulness of this building. The Kasbah also provides a 50% protection bonus if you are standing in it with one of your units, and that's just the same as a fort, so it kind of piles on small advantages. That of course makes Morocco very good for playing a defensive money game, as your units will usually be able to stand on such forts if you have the luck of spawning near a desert, but the chances are pretty high. I have played 3 or 4 games with Morocco, and I have had 2 desert starts, so that's either, well, 66 or 50%. It's pretty good. The third thing Morocco has is this one, the Berber Cavalry. This unit has additional combat strength. Let me show you. When fighting in your territory, or as you can see here, Homeland Guardian and Desert Warrior. Homeland Guardian gives you 25% in your own territory, and Desert Warrior gives you 50% combat strength when fighting in desert. So this is a pretty big difference. Unfortunately, it's on cavalry, and it's very restricted, as you probably already understand. If your enemies are not in desert, then, well, it's not going to be very useful. Luckily, you can use them defensively, and defensively they are excellent for taking down things like artillery, ranged units, etc. And you can combine these bonuses. They stack up pretty well with everything else and general bonuses, etc. So you can have cavalry units with over 100 strength. It's not impossible. Now, um, the way this is all set up means that Morocco is, well, not ideally suited for early combat, as they get no real bonuses from it. On the contrary, you want as many trade routes as possible early game, and that requires peace. So Morocco is typically a good civ for a diplomatic victory or a late game conquest. Because getting a load of gold piled up and the autocracy commerce combo means you can buy that much more units. Diplomatically, of course, you have the bonuses from trade routes, which make making trade routes to city-states even better, and the extra gold leads to being able to buy more city-states anyway. So you should be pretty well set up for that. And of course the Kasbah, which you can make on a number of tiles, is also an extra source of gold. So if you were to work all these tiles, especially if you have salt and some Kasbahs and the gold generation buildings which add a percentage, then you're going to ramp up in gold generation pretty quickly. So, well, you will end up with large piles of it. Ideally, you will be able to get Petra. Petra, of course, in currency. The chance of getting this is not that high, unfortunately, but if you get it, then all hell breaks loose and your city will become ridiculously powerful, because then suddenly the Kasbahs on a regular desert tile will turn in 2 food, 2 production and 1 gold every turn. Those on desert hills become 2 food, 4 production and 1 gold, and that is completely ridiculous. If you manage to get that, you are going to be set for an amazing game of Civ, but the chances are not that high, unfortunately, because, as you probably know, Petra is a very desirable wonder, and the tech for it is not exactly the easiest to grab, since you likely want a number of these early things, like, say, calendar writing, maybe masonry and bronze working, and you should be going for currency if you really want it, but it's not that easy. But if you can get it, then, well, that is really, really amazing. And I think you should probably try it if you have a start like the one I have here. So, yeah, that's it for Morocco. A rating, well, I would give this Civ a 5 out of 10. Since it's somewhat average, the gold generation is really good. The starting bias can be good also because Desert likes spawning oil, which is a primary resource that is needed for late game combat. So those are pluses. The 5 puts it in the middle of the field, and I think that's exactly where it belongs. Thanks for being here and see you next time.